This man was on this show when we were just a couple of months old, and now here we are a year and a half later, and he is back on the show, getting set for a couple of tour dates that we'll talk about in a matter of moments for you to go see the comic stylings, if you will, of this man, Kevin Nealon. Good to see you, Kevin.
Thank you, Rich. Good to see you, too.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, they're not really stylings, though, I'll tell you that. I just throw them out there.
So it's comic...
It's just comic presentation. Yeah, stylings would mean that I spent a lot of time on it, and I looked at different angles.
Who first came up with the words comic stylings?
I think some MC must have. I used to MC a lot coming up in the business, and you try to come up with new, ways of bringing people up on the stage. You know, this next guy, funny comedy stylings of, whoever, and because after you bring so many up, it's always like, oh, you're gonna like this next guy. He's really funny. Here he is, and you run out of stuff to say. So I think this guy probably came up with the styling. The
stylings, whoever that person was. And one of your upcoming tour dates is at the Ice House here in Pasadena, California on the 2nd. Now, that is an old school spot.
That is old.
I've been there, and there's like pictures of Letterman from when he was like 18 years old.
Oh, yeah, Letterman, and also Carlin, while he's wearing a jacket and tie before he went into the... the T-shirt stuff. I noticed that you kind of casualed back on this show, too. You used to be jacket and tie.
Yeah, I was all suited and booted. A black tie affair normally every day. And I just figured, I'm on every day. It's 3 hours a day.
Used to be caviar in the back. Now it's just chips.
Now it's just chips and a whole boatload of Lifesavers. I have no idea why they're back there. But it's mints. I mean, look.
I thought, when I saw the big bowl of mints, the red and white like things, I know. Yeah. Rich must not like bad breath on his guests.
That's exactly what it is.
Hope he's not going to kiss me.
I will do anything with a guest and hang out with it, but halitosis it's a deal breaker.
What do you tell somebody if they have bad breath? Because I had a friend that had really bad breath that we didn't know how to tell him.
What happened? So that person still just walks around?
We just broke up with him. He's not a friend anymore. I'd rather break up with somebody than tell them they have bad breath.
Have you ever broken up with a friend, Kevin? Have you really done something like that?
Yeah, I have.
Uh-oh. Yeah. It's actually happened.
Only because my wife, took that path. And it's hard to stay friends with somebody when your wife's not friends with them. I don't typically have a problem with anybody.
I once actually heard that in an interview with Bob Newhart talking about how long he's been friends with Don Rickles. Yeah. And they said, what's the secret to the relationship? And Newhart said, our wives like each other. Yeah. And that was basically what he said.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That helps out.
I ran into Bob Newhart at the Denver airport about a year ago. I was.
What do you mean, just walking around?
No, he was in the lounge. He was in the lounge.
Okay. Yeah.
And I saw him. I said, "Hey, Bob, how's it going?" Because I knew him a little bit from SNL, and I see him around. And he goes, "Good, good, good." I said, "Man, I'm just working on the road stuff. I'm getting tired of it. I've been doing it for like 29 years now." He goes, "Try 56." I said, "Oop."
Yep.
Okay.
Not going to complain about that anymore.
Not complaining anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and you got the Helium Club in Portland, Oregon. We've got our great affiliate up there in Portland, Oregon, from July 28th to the 30th, and then August 26th and 27th at the Comedy Works South.
Rich, this is so tiring, man. I'm already exhausted here in all these places I have to go.
You're wiped out.
Yeah.
At least you got the pre-check there, right? You got the pre-check? The TSA pre-check?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing. If you have to travel, make it easy as possible on yourself. Get the pre-check, global entry, whatever it is. Get the Hertz Gold thing, so you don't have to wait in line at the Hertz. You got
to get that. Sure.
You got to get that, and upgrade whenever you can.
Now, do you ever? This is a conversation that we've had with my two Chris's over there. Do you? What are your thoughts on taking your shoes off on a plane, Kevin?
Anything over an hour and a half flight, they come off. Yeah. Because when you're traveling, and believe me, I travel a lot, your ankles and feet tend to swell.
Okay.
So if you leave your shoes on, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be tight, it's not good for your circulation.
But I know you, and even if I didn't know you, I would know of you. What about a perfect stranger? You don't know what their hygiene is. You have no idea what's going on in that shoe, and they just take it off. I mean,
well, I will
that's
tell
my
you
problem
something,
here.
Rich. I will tell you something.
Yes, Kevin.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully they have socks on.
We have seen barefoot situations, correct?
Barefoot people that sit in like seat 1 sometimes, or maybe the row just behind first class.
Bulkhead
put it up on the bulkhead.
The bulkhead where they put their feet then up on the magazines.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, I leave my socks on.
Okay.
Because I got a bunion toe that kind of goes like that.
Deion Sanders has one of those, by the way.
All of us athletes seem to have that. But I'm going to get it fixed. But, I got a lineup of things that I'm getting fixed on my body, and that was going to be the next one. But now there's other things that are coming into play that I got to take care of. You know,
It's
I got
like
some shoulder stuff, and you know.
It's your own personal triage that you're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a hip replaced last May.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, football injuries.
That's right.
But you know, as far as the taking the shoes off, I'm all for it. And I think shoes are probably more smelly than feet.
Okay.
It's the socks. The socks are the important thing. If you have smelly socks, that's
it's
the thing.
See, I just don't want to be put in the situation of not trusting what's happening next to me, and I just figured just leave them on. But I understand what you're saying.
But I stop at the shoes.
Okay.
Don't start taking off your pants and your shirt and stuff.
None of that?
Yeah.
You can't have any of that.
Nah, you don't need that.
Kevin Nealon sitting here on the Rich Eisen Show once again, at Kevin_Nealon on Twitter. So I'm still seeing you and Arnold Palmer in these television commercials out there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What was that like, shooting a commercial with Arnold Palmer? Because I know you're a big golf guy. And
yeah, it was great.
Like?
It was great. Like you, I watched Palmer growing up and always been fascinated with his talent and his career. And to get to spend all this time with him, I must have spent about 4 or 5 days with him total. And it got to that point where, you know, I called him Mr. Palmer. He goes, call me Arnie. So, all right, fair enough.
It's like he's telling you to take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off, Kevin.
And I tell him, you know, when we were hanging around golfing, we were in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, his home course, where he learned how to golf. Where he was just, his father was a groundskeeper there. Neither one of them were allowed to golf on that course.
No kidding.
And he ended up buying it, you know, buying the whole town almost.
Wow.
But this guy is, you know, great sense of humor, loves to laugh. He putts great. I watched him putt like 100 putts. Almost every one of them went in. Then he sits in the cart, and I tried putting. For some reason, I couldn't get one putt in front of him for like a half hour. You know, because there was a little like peak right before the cup, and he knew that green, you know.
So he's basically using his home course.
Yeah.
Advantage on you, Kevin Nealon.
I think so. On me, Kevin Nealon. But here's what I do, Rich. I used to golf in the Bob Hope Classic. It's no longer the Bob Hope Classic. And with every professional golfer I golf with, I would ask him for one tip from the day.
Yes.
Charlie Hoffman told me to get out of the bunker because I was having trouble. He goes, try to hit the ball with the hosel of your club. And I said, if I do that, I'm going to hit the ball. He goes, no, you won't. So sure enough, I tried it. Boom. Hit the hosel with the ball. Hit the ball with the hosel.
And?
It went shanking out somewhere. And I look up to him, and he's looking at me. I go, what happened? He goes, I don't know. And he left. And then Jon Daily, I played golf with him, and because I'm a weekend, at most a weekend golfer. Maybe I'm a monthly golfer at the most.
Okay.
You know, and I asked John for a tip, and he goes, well, you know, most of the you know, guys like you, amateurs, they get tired in the back nine, and that's true. And plus, as you get older too, you get tired. You can't hit the ball as far as you could with a, you know, 7-iron or whatever. So take an extra club length or two, he said, and you'll get to the green. Because most amateurs leave it short.
Right. And so how'd that work out for you? Did it work? Did the tip work for you?
I don't remember. We were so hammered.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw during the Open this past Sunday when this whole big to-do was going on about Dustin Johnson, whether he had a stroke penalty or he didn't. Then all of these professional golfers were tweeting out their disappointment, if you will, in the USGA, like McIlroy and Spieth. Jon Daily tweeted out a picture of saying that everybody deserved a 2-stroke penalty that he's going to give himself right now, and he held up 2 Jon Daily bottles of alcohol in his hands. Is what he basically was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
You know, with the cig. I mean, come on now.
But I will tell you, he's fun to play with, and he knows everybody. He's so charming. He's got women coming out, running out of the fairway and hugging him, and he knows their names. You know why? Because they're all his ex-wives. And I tell you, I was gonna the day I was golfing with him, I overslept. I didn't oversleep. My watch stopped. The battery died on it. And I was, you know, I was waiting, you know, and I thought, wow, it's still early. I'll get a coffee or whatever. And then I look, and it's still the same time. I go, oh, my God, what time is it? My watch has stopped, and it was like 20 minutes past the tee-off time.
Right.
And so I hustle over there, and I'm thinking, what am I going to tell him? What am I going to tell him? You know, I catch up to them on the second green, and I know he likes to, you know, he enjoys his libations.
Yes.
So I ran up to him and said, John, I'm so sorry, man. I was out late last night. I'm so hungover this morning. I just got here. I knew he would understand, and he looks at me, passed me on the shoulder, he goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's have fun.
Just come on out here.
Yeah.
So have you ever run into Musburger? Has he ever seen you or he?
No, I don't think so.
Never once.
No.
Did you look at Musburger tapes when you used to do the Brent Musburger?
Yeah, I did. I did that. I did them on Saturday Night Live. I'm not a real great impressionist. But,
I know.
You know, if I look
that's
a little
not
bit,
technically your forte, but
if I have some of the characteristics of some of these people, like Brent Musburger with the same long face and stuff, and if I pulled my eyelids down like that, I would kind of look like him a little bit.
very Musburger-like.
Yeah, I'm on CBS or whatever he's on. But and at first we thought, why don't we just tape him down? You know.
Right.
But then that wouldn't work. So Al Franken, who wrote the sketch, said, just use your fingers and hold them down like that.
So did you really go down though?
Yeah, I was just holding them down. And that's why my eyes are screwed up today.
So the current senator of Minnesota wrote that sketch for you.
That's correct.
It's incredible what things happen in life.
Well, I think, I think it's like what LeBron James said. You know, if you want something bad enough, I don't know what he said. I'm making this up. But
sound good, by the way.
You know, you can make things happen if you really want it bad enough.
By the way, that sounds like something that somebody would say in the sports world.
You could only say that, though, if you won that game.
Of course.
Like if they lost, he couldn't say that. You know, you can say, see, if you want something bad enough, you make it happen. I guess I didn't want this bad enough.
Yeah, it's just one size fits all. It's fantastic. Look, man, thank you for coming in. Thank you for being part of the show as much as you have been.
I'm excited for your career trajectory.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're doing well.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. At Kevin_Nealon on Twitter. Be one of the 1.5 million followers and check things out. The Ice House in Pasadena. That is a great spot on July 2nd.
Yeah, that is really nice. And I cannot, Rich, I cannot underscore how important that underscore is in my Twitter handle there.
Who has Kevin Nealon without the underscore?
I don't know, man.
Can we get on this? What can we do?
You know, I already spent a lot of money getting my KevinNealon.com.
Yeah?
We never found out who had it. It was just sitting somewhere.
Somebody was squatting on that.
Somebody squatted on it, but they weren't even squatting on it. They squat on it, and then they left.
Maybe it was Musburger. Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Good rap right there.
They see? It's called full circle.
Wrap it up. Take a break. We'll be right back.
Kevin Nealon here on The Rich Eisen Show. Thanks for coming on, Kevin. I appreciate that.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.